How have you been?
Been great.
So, for our listeners who might not know, we don't talk to each other when we're not on air
Yeah.
because we consider that to be wasted content.
Gotta
Um,
save it all.
Save everything. And in the spirit of that, today we're beginning a new series, um, which is Maxwell Lovecraft Presents In the Mouth of Gadness. Now, in this series, we will be reviewing the memoir of one like 40-year-old. Uh,
Is he? You must be around that,
Look at
right?
him.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
him. He's not old. But he has lived such a long, full, and storied life that we just must learn about all of this crazy stuff that's happened to him. Um,
From characters like Olaf to other characters like Olaf.
yeah, like I think he was in the movie Pixels. I don't know what else he was in, but we'll find out.
Okay.
So, quick shout out to my brother who blessed me with this cursed book, uh, knowing how much I would enjoy it. And talking about wasted content, I read the first 15 pages of this book. Not a lot. I probably annotated it more than I've annotated any book
Really?
since like college or high school. Yeah,
Oh
like
my
I was
gosh.
like, so, and I was like, because I just like had to tell somebody about all of this stuff in here,
That's so
and my thoughts
funny.
about it, and so I was like, well, this seems like a really good thing to record. Also, we haven't really dabbled in any nonfiction,
Yeah.
and this it's just a rich text. I let's go ahead and start. The blurbs on the back are Adam Sandler, Billy Crystal, Andrew Rennells, Adina Menzel, who I call Nadella Dazeem, Pink, and Trey Parker and Matt Stone from
What?
South Park, and which
What's
I think
Pink doing on there?
I don't. She says, of course, Josh Gad's book is funny, hilarious actually, but it is also kind and so human, just like Josh himself. A beautiful and joyful read.
So human.
So I don't know how many of these people actually wrote these blurbs, and it seems like he's really this is a list of called in favors, and the biggest called in favor is by one Sacha Baron Cohen, who wrote the foreword to this book.
Oh, okay.
We'll go ahead and skip the foreword because we've got a lot of book to read here. But basically, it's kind of Sacha Baron Cohen, who is a little bit cringe in his own right, and but at least like has some comedy chops, like has made some actually funny stuff, and has had like a long storied career of being like an outrage comic and doing all these personas, and has kind of like a niche art space that he works in.
They're really different types of comedians.
Very much so, but they know each other in some way. I feel like he called in, and basically Sacha Baron Cohen just continuously implies that he has not read this book
What?
and that he doesn't like Josh Gad that much.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Actually, should I just read it?
Yeah.
Forward by Sacha Baron Cohen. I first heard that Josh was writing an autobiography in 2022. When he told me, I said, "Wow, so you must think that actors' strike is going to go on for ages." He said, "No, I need to tell my story." And I said, "What?" And he showed me the advance he was offered, and I said, "Can you ask them if they'd like to hear my story as well?" And he said, "No, they wouldn't be interested." I said, "Can you at least ask?" 2 weeks later, he claimed he did. I was suspicious and asked for email proof, which he did not provide. He ghosted me for another 2 years until yesterday. Imagine my surprise when Josh asked me to write the foreword to his autobiography. I said, "Do I have to read it?" And he said, "Read 2 chapters and you'll get the idea." I said, "Fine, 2 chapters, that's nothing." And if I had bothered to read those 2 chapters, I'm sure it would have reinforced what I already know about Josh, that he is in the top 3 Afghan Jewish Floridians in the business. I learned so much about myself through the simple act of not reading this book. Josh is not only one of the 3 funniest people I have ever met in my life, he is one of the most brilliant, with the effortless ability to create legendary comedy characters out of pure imagination, and sometimes a bit of snow. He is also undoubtedly one of the kindest people I have ever met, someone who fights for democracy, liberal values, and the well-being of others. Now, Sacha Baron Cohen is a pretty staunch Zionist,
Okay.
and so I wonder what exactly liberal values and democracy he's
Means to
referencing here.
him, yeah.
Uh, yeah, and he just says that he likes him. So
That's pretty.
he's
It's pretty funny.
it's pretty funny. It's fun. It's the funniest thing at the opening of this book. So, do you mind if I launch right in?
Wait, can I ask?
Oh yeah, yeah, please.
So What's the full title of the book?
In Gad We Trust.
No subtitle or anything?
A tell some, like a tell all. Yeah,
Oh,
very
okay.
funny.
And when did this come out?
Really recently,
Okay.
like 2024 or something, I
Oh,
think.
wow. Okay, okay.
Maybe 2023. My brother sent this to me last year
Okay.
for my birthday. It opens with a Gadism. Dreams can become reality, and reality can become dreams. When you envision something long enough and work hard enough, the sky is the limit. Unless your dreams are about being bitten by a bat, that's a sign of bad luck and or rabies. Then please do not follow your dreams. So that's the kind of comedy that we are in
Gosh.
for here. Um, so, one, how I learned to stop worrying and love to clown.
Okay. That's the Doctor Strangelove,
Yeah, it's a
right?
Doctor Strangelove
Yeah. Okay.
reference. I think like the idea of love the bomb was maybe an already established phrase, you
Okay.
know? Like make peace with the thing that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, but there's some really good stuff, so I'm going to launch into it. I hope we get through at least the first 15 pages. It's so rich. There's so much.
I no, how much like psychic health points am I starting with? Because I'm sure I'm gonna lose some every chapter.
Yeah, you will for sure. But I think that you might lose some, but you'll also gain a lot because it'll make you feel really normal. And I think that this
Amazing.
is a great lesson that I want a lot of people to take away from this. Like, if this guy's story is worth telling, so is yours. And the bar is very low, and I do think like I've talked about like the idea of like there being only so much shelf space and all the people who want
Mm-hmm.
their books out there, and this took up like a lot. Like this is a hardback thing that was like heavily promoted, and dear lord. So there's some points I'll make as we're going along, things
Okay.
I noticed, but I'm gonna kind of gun it
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the
I'll let
first
you talk
paragraph
now.
here. I have very few vivid memories of my early childhood. Being dragged to the Karate Kid Part 2 in a theater and screaming at my brother because I didn't understand what sequels were and thought we were just seeing the movie I had already seen 1,000 times. Just
So
dumbass.
stupid.
And then being so confused by the montage of clips from the first film and then overwhelmed with joy that there were all new adventures for Daniel and Master Miyagi. Being introduced to a game called, quote, Doctor by my friend and wondering why he didn't also have a why she didn't also have a pee-pee between her legs. Holding what I thought was a toy snake, only to have my mom pry it out of my hands and started to slither and wrap around my arm. Vomiting all over my mother and father on a plane after we landed in New York and saying, oh my god, I feel so much better, as they both violently gagged. But among the most vivid images I have is the day my mother threw my father out of the house.
Wow.
Opening paragraph. Is there any particular thing that jumps out at you there?
Well, I was really confused at first. I thought all this was happening at the
It
movies.
does. It's phrased like that. There is a semicolon, which I think does a lot of work here,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I didn't hit perfectly, but the just remember that one very striking and odd thing he decides to talk about, because it'll come into play.
Okay.
My parents' bedroom had two mirrored closets that face each other, creating an illusion of infinite reflections, or whatever was positioned in front of them. On this one particular day, my mother was hurling my dad's luggage and clothes at him, and he was laughing it off, with my brothers holding on to me as I bawled in a state of confusion and fear. I had never heard my mom scream like that and didn't understand why my dad would have to leave. After all, infidelity isn't usually a topic taught in kindergarten alongside hygiene in the alphabet. I didn't realize it then, but that would be our last day together as a family.
Oh,
Sad.
sad.
Um, it was also my radioactive spider bite inception moment. Like Peter Parker turning into Spider-Man, this was the moment I would turn into my equivalent of a far less physically fit and lacking all superhuman powers version of Spider-Man. The trauma of going from a full family unit to a broken household in a matter of minutes was fairly earth-shattering to me. But it would also set me on a course to become the entertainer I would one day be. But every origin story has a beginning, and mine began like many before me, in a hospital, followed by a strange bearded man, cutting off a piece of my dick as strangers clinked glasses to celebrate. So we're about a page's worth in. 2 mentions of child penis
Yeah.
in here. So something I also think is really interesting is like, not even interesting. It's not interesting, I guess, is the idea that how many like broken families are there in America? Like half of them. And how many of them like have comedy careers? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one radioactive spider bit one person and it created one Spider-Man. But comedians have like this like thing that they like love to do where they're like, oh, my comedy comes from like my darkness and my trauma.
Well, his dad was laughing.
His dad was laughing, and his dad cheated on his mom, and they got divorced.
Yeah, and his dad was laughing. And he
Laughing.
thought
Joker style.
exactly.
Yeah,
That
that's a
kind of
really good
turned
point.
it. Yeah.
And that's why his comedy is so dark.
Yeah, you know, you can, after knowing this, you really can see the through line that leads to his role in Book of Mormon.
Okay, I haven't seen him in Book of Mormon.
He was the funny guy.
Okay.
You know, like,
yeah. Yes, absolutely. Very troubled behind the,
So-
you know. I also think like
troubled.
something about this is like the publisher saying like, we have to have like an instigation point, you know? Think back to your childhood, like give me something. I was born on February 23rd, 1981. Fort Apache, the Bronx, was the #1 film at the box office. The #1 song was I Love a Rainy Night by Eddie Rabbitt, and there was a failed coup d'etat staged against King Juan Carlos I of Spain. Back at Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood, Florida, I was staging my own coup on my mother's uterus. On an unusually crisp winter night, I was born at 21 inches, 6 pounds, and 10 ounces, the last time I had a reasonably healthy body mass index.
oh my gosh.
In what is a perfect example of my parents' relationship in my early childhood, my father was casually finishing his dinner as my mother went into labor and pleaded with him to, quote, hurry up. I really think something that really cracked me up about this was that, like, whoa! I really think there's something very funny about the idea of basically starting your book at your birth.
Yeah, it all began.
Yeah.
One other thing I think he's like totally doing is that, isn't it so crazy that I came out of my mom
Yeah,
and
totally.
then they cut a cord and then they circumcise? Like he's
Do you
doing the
believe
like.
that happened to the person that would later be Olaf?
Oh
Go
my
all the
gosh!
way
How
from
did he
there.
overcome?
I don't know. So I really like this one.
Okay.
I was hardly an accident, but barely a victory. I think my parents, who already had 2 boys, Jason and Jeffrey, then ages 10 and 8, ages 10 and 8.5, were desperately hoping for a little girl. They had even picked out a name, Jacqueline. Well, I popped out, and my surprise penis made it slightly difficult to go with the pink layette they had confidently purchased for me.
We're on like page 3.
No, this is
right?
This is the bottom of page 2 of the thing,
Oh
and
my
the first page
gosh.
was a half page.
That's crazy.
So-
like, so much.
Emily, I know you're a counselor, and I know you don't really do Freudian psychoanalysis necessarily, but like him referencing his child penis 3 times in the first 1.5 pages of his life story.
There's something there.
There's something there.
And if it continues at this clip, I was like...
Unfortunately, it doesn't.
It's a sharp drop.
Yeah,
No,
it's a sharp
that's-
drop off.
That's a lot. That's a lot up front.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
The first time, it was even weird.
Yes, it was. It was weird. It's been weird every time.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if he thinks he's being like irreverent or like extra goofy or something, but it's never seemed like a natural time to reference it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's weird.
I also think it's really funny just starting out being like, my parents wanted a girl. Like he's
More hardship.
Yeah, more hardship for him.
I'm sorry. I just have to, like, the second fact we get about his life is, well, the first fact is I was a kid and I was so dumb I didn't know what a sequel was. And the second fact is I was playing doctor with my best friend and we showed each other our genitals. It's like,
So what I'm really excited for about this book, about what I've read so far, is like the idea of like the interesting thing that he has to tell you, being that he didn't know what a sequel was and he went and saw The Karate Kid 2, is basically what he thinks are the interesting things that happened to him in his life.
okay, I have something else to add,
Mm-hmm.
which is these are the chapters he wanted Sacha Baron Cohen to read. And he said
Okay,
he
so
said, you'll get
when
it.
when I just reread that to you, I did not remember the 2 chapters thing, because I
Yeah.
actually read the foreword way before I started this book, and then I was like, that's crazy to tell him just read 2 chapters and you'll get it. But
It would be so funny. Just read the first 2 pages
yeah.
and you'll get it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, my older brothers were so annoyed that my mother and father were having a 3rd child much younger than them that they insisted my parents at least give me a J name so that it complemented their first initials. I feel like they were going to do that anyway because they were going to give the girl named Jacqueline.
Yes.
My mother conceded, and that's how Joshua was chosen.
The most like if you have a normal name, like
Also,
a common name,
his
it's
family's
not interesting.
Jewish, right? I guess
Yeah, I
Jason
think
and
so.
Jeffrey, I don't know if those are Jewish names. Are they?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Jeffrey doesn't sound like one. But it seems like kind of an obvious name. After 2 nights at the hospital, my parents brought me home to their North Park Road house in the residential community of Emerald Hills, a house they had moved to only 6 months prior after spending the previous few years bouncing between Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and East Meadow, New York. The peanut butter and tuna of geographical crossovers.
What does that mean?
The peanut butter and tuna of
Okay.
geographical. So, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and East Meadow, New York are the peanut butter and tuna of geographical crossovers.
Okay. I got
Let's
it
just
that
say
time.
it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy to move from the biggest city in Brazil to the biggest city in America.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? But this is okay. So this is what I love, and we'll get more into this. His parents' lives before having him seemed pretty genuinely interesting, even if not always awesome. Like pretty genuinely interesting. And then they get to America and they just like birth this like wet towel of a child who like just like wants to play Pac-Man and like watch Star Wars.
Okay. I mean, I haven't gotten that much information yet.
Yeah. After lengthy research, they determined that the one place they could marry all things Brazilian with all things New York was South Florida, and more specifically, Hollywood, Florida. Do you know that much about Hollywood, Florida? I don't feel like I do. I mean, we're
Not
in
much.
Florida, but
Yeah.
it's like just one of those.
I had a friend from there.
Yeah? What were they like?
She was really nice.
Okay. Alrighty. In the multiverse of Hollywoods, this is the villain one. Lacking the romantic hills and movie star glitz Hollywood. Hollywood, Florida. Oh, I thought he was going to give us like multiple Hollywoods. He's
Well,
just saying the multiverse of Hollywoods means
the 2 that we
the
have.
2 Hollywoods. Lacking the romantic hills and movie star glitz, Hollywood, Florida was the less exciting little sister of Miami and the more exciting big brother of Hallandale. What it lacked in marquee venues, it made up for in 7-Elevens and rundown beachfronts. This is just like, to me, so like insulting because it's like, yeah, man, like, I'm sorry, like, it's just goes back to like who this book is like written for, which is not normal people who have had like normal lives and struggles, and probably a lot of them they have that he thinks is so crazy that like his parents like got divorced and moved to Florida.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, yeah, most people grow up like in a place with no beachfronts and around more 7-Elevens than
Totally.
whatever, you know, glitz and glam.
Yeah.
Like,
It's also
that's
like
the country.
what I have found, because I've read several celebrity memoirs, and first of all, they don't all start at birth. But there is always a point in reading them where there's obviously, they only had so much to say. Like, they write about their
Right.
career and it's interesting, but then they include a story that makes you think, okay, so you only had a little bit to say.
Yeah.
And it's like he's starting here because he probably has very little to say.
Like, literally, I feel like if Josh Gad, like, ever ran into Brad Pitt at the Golden Globes and had, like, one interaction with him, that would make it into the book. You know, it would
Yeah.
be like a huge
I'm
thing that happened to him.
I am sure there will be name dropping in this
Yeah,
one.
I'm excited for it. Um, okay, so in truth, I have very warm memories of my childhood in Hollywood. I love my friends, I love my community, I love my neighborhood. And while Hollywood, Florida, if is often a punchline, for me, it was the perfect place to start my journey.
Okay, I have one more thing to say, and then I promise I'll let you read.
No, keep yeah.
It is funny to be like, this is the evil Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like-
and I loved being there. It's the villain of the multiverse of Hollywoods.
Like, I feel like we could know a lot of dark stuff about the other Hollywood.
That's so true. Like a hub of like molestation and money laundering.
Yeah.
That's so true.
It's like this one was evil. It had a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
There were poor people there.
Totally. Yeah. My parents had decided to settle in Florida because it was easier for my father's business commutes. Where most of my friends' fathers were in fairly pedestrian vocations, doctors, lawyers, business owners, my father was an emerald dealer based out of Colombia, not South Carolina's, South America's. My father and his brothers had a company called Amgad, which owned multiple emerald mines.
What?
Now, to me, look, I actually Googled Amgad when I read this the first time. I couldn't find that much on it, but I don't know how many, like, when I hear that somebody's father owns multiple gem mines, I think evil.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know. I know that
Yeah.
about, like, diamond mining, you know,
Sure.
but I
He's got the Musk origin
Yeah.
story.
it's sort of a little bit like that. I don't think anybody quite has the Musk origin story because his dad was. Did you know? I think Elon Musk's mom, Errol Musk, his dad, married a woman, and when he married her, she had a 4-year-old daughter who was a stepdaughter, and then he later married her and had children with her. And I think one of those is Elon Musk. I don't know if one of those is, but yeah, and that's who his dad is.
Oh.
And his dad also has like 8 or 9 kids, and has told Elon that the sole purpose of their existence is to reproduce as much as possible.
That's
Two psychos.
nasty. Yeah.
Sicko psychos.
That's very sick.
Anyway, so his father owned a bunch of emerald mines in
Okay.
Colombia. Yeah.
I can't help myself. He's also like, would you believe it? One of my parents, not from America.
So we're going to get into his parents, which is
Yeah.
really the interesting thing here. They would mine the caves outside of Bogota and then sell the refined jewels out of their offices in New York City. As you can imagine if you've seen Narcos, working out of Colombia in the early 80s was, shall we say, fraught. Bedtime stories were often a mix of which one of his friends had been recently assassinated and what new technology, my favorite being a night vision goggle of sorts, his security was using to monitor his finca, a South American farm of sorts. Not a South American farm of sorts, a South American farm.
It means
farm. And spot would-be snipers, a precision killer of sorts. Is there any way that what his dad was doing was legal in Colombia if he had people with night vision goggles looking for snipers?
Also, his dad has no boundaries if this is the bedtime story.
And like his dad's connection to Colombia, like he's not from there, so
Oh, okay.
he's not Colombian, which makes it like weirder.
Is he Brazilian?
No, he's not Brazilian either.
Oh.
We'll get into his dad's backstory. I don't want to give
Okay.
too much away. I
Okay.
really don't, because the first thing he says about his dad is really great. Essentially, my father's life was Disney's Encanto by way of Scarface. So basically, all I can make of that is that he's saying it was like Scarface because he was doing crazy mob style, violent gun stuff, but it was like Encanto because it was what? What's the Encanto part?
Because there was a house.
I don't understand what the Encanto part was. Because he had a family. Is it the Encanto part because like instead of it takes place in like a Hispanic area, whereas Scarface is like a Cuban who comes here?
Maybe what he means is that his dad had siblings that all had magical powers and he was normal.
That could be true. My parents had as divergent upbringings as one can imagine. Now here is one of my favorite lines. My father's upbringing is an Onion headline. A Jew born in Afghanistan.
Okay.
Now, isn't that so funny that the Onion would write it as a headline? Isn't that so
It's
crazy and so ridiculous?
it is so hysterical and satire. I can't believe he could even come up with that.
It's incredible. Now, I want you to picture, you get the Instagram things and it's like the Onion headlines and it like says like Onion, a Jew was born in Afghanistan. I think you're like,
Huh?
who of your friends are you sending that one to,
Yeah.
Like that's some funny
Oh,
what?
Oh, that's so me.
I don't think that that's crazy either.
No.
Like there's no way. Like it's all it's in the Middle East. It's
Yeah.
like I know they have like tighter ethnographies there than like America or like a lot of Europe does, but I can't imagine that it's like unheard of,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's I don't know. But I just thought that was really funny. He was the son of a rug salesman named Nissan and his second wife, Rivka, and one of 14 children, 7 siblings and 7 half-siblings from Nissan's first marriage. According to my father, his family was nomads, escaping persecution from one part of the Middle East to the next. You can apparently trace my lineage back to the early tribes of Israel, where we were dislocated by Assyrians, never a big fan, in 1723 BC, tough year, over to the next 2,000 plus years. We took up residence everywhere from Iran to India, ultimately settling in picturesque Afghanistan. I don't know if he's trying to be sarcastic there, but I think Afghanistan is probably very beautiful, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
imagine so.
Surprisingly, in the late 40s, when my father was born, there was a fairly sizable population of Jewish people in Afghanistan.
Okay.
So not quite an
Not
Onion
that
article.
It's also like it's not that surprising, and it's also like not well known enough where it would be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Like maybe to him he thinks that
Like
I don't
everyone
know.
wouldn't expect that. It's like
Yeah.
like that makes us like we had to sit and be like, well, is that a thing? You know?
That it's weird for that to
Yeah,
be like
like-
a weird thing.
Mhm.
Like apparently not, because there was a fairly sizable population of Jewish people in Afghanistan, which I can totally believe. It's in a very
One of the
similar
world's
region.
top religions, so
Well, and I think he's saying like also like ethnically Jewish,
Mhm.
but it's like there are ethnically Jewish people like all over the place. Afghanistan's a big country. It's not like I don't know. He was born in a town called Herat where life was anything but normal. Electricity was not an option. Instead of soccer, locals played a game called goat pulling that involved 2 teams essentially scoring points on each other, not with a ball, but by throwing a headless goat carcass into a goalpost. Imagine being that soccer mom.
he has to be joking.
I don't think he's joking. Maybe his dad was lying.
That's like what yeah.
But I first of all, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard of, and it's like such like it's like I know he wants this to be a comedy thing, but that's like maybe like a really powerful way to explain how foreign his father's upbringing was to him. But then he has to throw in parentheses, imagine being that soccer mom, and it's just like just sucks all of that
Yeah.
gravity out of your being like, whoa, that's a crazy thing. Meanwhile, school, usually a safe refuge, was also, would you believe it, fairly unorthodox. My father has a history of embellishment. Okay.
Okay, you tell us that now. You want to reflect a little bit on your goat story?
Yeah, for real. It's like one time some crazy kid.
It's like okay, you know in it's like you know in The Revenant where he gets inside the bear. To,
I never saw The Revenant.
Well, I didn't either, but he like gets inside a bear to survive, like a bear carcass.
Can
That
I-
was like the scene.
Ask a legitimate question.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of the beginning of The Empire Strikes Back?
No,
Okay.
no. And it was a whole thing because it was like, oh, he really got inside a bear carcass. Okay, I don't know if he actually did. But
What?
that story is like, if I was like, yeah, my dad was in the woods and he had to sleep in a bear carcass to survive. Imagine doing that dry cleaning.
I know,
You know
I
what
know.
I
That's
mean?
exactly what he's doing. I also will say, at the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, Harrison Ford did climb into a real tauntaun.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. My father has a history of embellishment, so please take everything that follows with a very large grain of salt. I'll also say everything that precedes.
Totally.
um, Having said that, one distinct memory my father. One distinct memory my father has is that at the age of 4, he was outed by his classmates to the teacher for bringing a balloon into class. The teacher took him outside, tied his feet together, and ripped a considerable branch from a large tree. The teacher then had the students take turns beating my father until he could barely walk or see. When my father stumbled home, his dad was outraged. He gathered a mob, returned to the school, and told the teacher that if she ever allowed an assault on my father to take place again, the group would take a larger branch and beat the teacher violently with it. Again, just as a reminder, as much for you as me, this was all over in, and this is in all caps, children's balloon. Not an adult's balloon.
No. No.
But such was life in Afghanistan.
What?
Your dad grew up in the craziest place in the craziest town. It's also not such was life. Your dad, you just say my dad lies about this sort of stuff.
That's
Okay.
a crazy story.
This is another one of his great lines. At 9 years old, my father and his family moved to Kabul by bus. I'm fairly certain it was not a Greyhound.
Ugh. Oh my god. This is like insufferable.
It really is crazy how much funnier Sacha Baron Cohen, like he was actually doing like a bit in his thing, and he like can't do anything in this. In life in Herat, it was hard. Kabul wouldn't be much easier. My father recalls a story about him and a group of friends playing on a roof one day with a kite. Now, this story, okay, playing on a roof one day with a kite. A local boy begged my dad to borrow the kite, and having never flown one before, the boy lost control of the kite, chased it, flew off the roof they were on, and plummeted to the ground along with the kite. For the record, I tried several versions of that sentence, and yes, they were all equally insane sounding.
I can't. Oh
No.
my gosh.
Like, literally, I'm sorry, like, the fucking part where they're playing soccer with a headless goat carcass is insane sounding. The part where somebody is flying a kite on the roof and falls off the roof is something that would have happened to me that would not have been like a note that I would like tell you now. Like I would remember now, like not as a not that interesting thing, but like one time I fell off my roof while flying a kite.
It doesn't sound so insane.
It's not insane.
I mean, it is kind of crazy, but it's like not like that crazy.
A local boy begged my dad to borrow a kite. Having never flown one before, the boy lost control of the kite, chased it, flew off the roof they were on, and plummeted to the ground along with the kite.
Okay. So he was trying to catch the kite and he just ran off of the roof.
And he fell off of a roof.
Okay. I thought I was kind of mishearing it. I thought that he like was doing kind of Looney Tunes style, like running off of the
Oh, and jumping or
like thinking he would be okay.
Yeah, I think
No, it sounds
it's
like
just
he
like
was
a
trying
kid
to
fell
catch
off a
it.
roof, like in a
Yeah.
regular way. Like I fell off my roof as a kid. Like
you?
yes, see, and I never mentioned it because it's not that interesting. Like, cause like I don't think that they were living in a like 2 or 3 story house here.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like if like I could jump off of our roof. I could jump off of our roof.
All right, let's go do it.
We could go do it, but like we used to do that for fun at my house. Like we used to jump off the roof into the grass. We'd be like, wow, and then
That's
you'd like have to
crazy.
roll so you didn't get hurt. But I'm just saying, like, he doesn't even. I feel like if the kid had even been injured, he would have included that. Like,
Sure.
the kid broke his leg and he had to blah blah blah.
Well, maybe one day we'll have a child who will become a famous comedian and they'll tell your story.
My beautiful story, but I wouldn't even remember to tell them that.
I know.
Growing up in a predominantly Islamic society as a Jew was, in many ways, culturally stimulating and rewarding for my father. He is able to learn about rituals and expand his knowledge beyond the traditions of his own Judaic background. Many of his friends were Muslim, and my father did business and shared friendships with many high-ranking Muslim officials and leaders in the community. That is not to say there wasn't the occasional incident. On one occasion, my father was surrounded by a group of bullies, and a Quran was shoved in his face. He was told that if he did not renounce Judaism, they would violently beat him. My dad, still just a child, was terrified. His dad, a very religious man, had told him that if he was ever in danger, he should close his eyes and recite the Holy Shema prayer. Now look, I'm not looking to disparage anybody's faith, but if I'm surrounded by people who are telling me that they're going to beat me up for being Jewish, I'm probably not going to like close my eyes and recite a Jewish prayer. I think you're going to probably get beat up. Oh, wait, but I forgot there was a miracle. According to my father, he recited the prayer, and in that moment, his father, who never in his life had returned from work earlier than 6 p.m., never in his life, suddenly walked toward the mob at 3 in the afternoon. His father took his walking cane and started whacking all of the kids, all of my father's tormentors, in the head, like something out of a Jewish Karate Kid. Remember Karate Kid from the
Yeah, I
from the
remember
beginning
it.
of the book? I myself am from a Jewish Karate Kid.
Okay. It is.
I myself am not religious and believe in my heart it was probably mere coincidence that my dad's father showed up at precisely the right time to save him. But man, do I love the beauty of that narrative. Shortly thereafter, my grandfather and his wife decided that while Afghanistan had been their home for many years, perhaps it was time for a change. By this time, they had many friends and family in Israel and thought it was time to return to their ancestral roots. Sadly, a few weeks before they were to depart, my grandfather Nassan died of a heart attack. It boggles my mind that I have a grandfather buried somewhere in Afghanistan. Why?
Yeah.
Your grandfather
He
lived in
there
Afghanistan.
for many years.
He lived in Afghanistan. He had a bunch of good friends in Afghanistan.
That's a
And
really
he died in
weird
Afghanistan.
sentiment.
It feels, I'm just saying, it feels a little phobic.
It does, because
Right?
it's like, did you, like, oh, sadly he never made it to Israel to be buried there.
Yeah.
But he lived
He lived in
there.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
I know he said he moved around a lot, but it sounds like he was pretty well established in the
Because
community.
it's also like, he's not like, it makes me sad that like my grandparent is buried on another continent and it's like, I can't go there. It's like,
Yeah,
that it's
totally.
in Afghanistan. That's weird.
I wonder if like he's still just thinking like, I feel like he's got very, for having like parents that were so well traveled and worldly people, I feel like he has very rudimentary ideas of like socio-political, like, I don't know, the way people navigate the world and like get along with each other. Like maybe he like gets the idea of Afghanistan that's like pitched to you on like cable news, you know?
Yeah.
You want to get her down?
Yeah, she's going crazy.
My father and his family arrived in Israel when he was around 12 and a half, with nothing to their names. They lived in government housing, and they all found work to pay off their accruing bills.
Don't look at me like that.
Yeah, moving into housing that was built on like land that was just thieved away from people forced out of their homes and being like, and it was hard. I'm sorry, like it's crazy. It's like it's like if we were like right after driving off the Native Americans, we built a house there and the government subsidized it and we moved there and it was difficult.
And we had bills.
And they have bills. My father, they found work to pay their bills. We've done that.
I've done that. Yeah. What? That's me.
My father soon got a job in which he learned how to cut diamonds. As another source of income, he became a bodybuilder at age 15. You
Whoa.
can't make this shit up.
Okay. I said whoa because I didn't realize his father was 15 at this time. I guess this was still in his youth.
Because he moved there when he was 12 and a half, it said to Israel. Like his mom moved there.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not, you don't really have control over where you move or socio-political. I don't think it's wrong of his father to move to Israel at 12 and a half, but I just think that like retroactive painting of that struggle is like a little bit silly.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know, something about like the way that his family, I know they're kind of like nomadic, but they seem to be like fairly well off to me. Like, but I guess I don't know that yet.
Well, they had to find work to pay their bills.
He had to, well, I guess he did say to find another form of income. He started bodybuilding at age 15. Now,
classic way to get
I do have to say, like, I didn't think of this, but like, we were watching Pumping Iron, and it's like, though that was like when bodybuilding was first starting to get big, but wasn't quite big yet, and there wasn't like any money even in being like Mr. Olympia really at that point, besides like advertising deals. And like one of the main guys in that documentary is also like a school teacher, so he can like pay his bills. So I'm like, What kind of return were you getting for being a 15-year-old Israeli bodybuilder?
Is it possible he was just doing that for fun and maybe he won and got some money?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering too.
Like,
I don't want to like overhate,
I know
but yeah.
I'm worried because this is all just his dad
It's
too.
his
But
dad,
we're
and his
more
dad
upset
does
with
have a way more interesting like life, like
yeah,
being born in Afghanistan, moving to Israel at 12, and playing with
a
goat
carcass.
carcasses and getting beat up, and then his dad being the Jewish Mr. Miyagi.
I've taken a lot of psychic damage, genuinely.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
this has been
Harrowing.
yeah.
Um, but you couldn't make something like that up.
I not if it
A
not if I
15-year-old
tried.
becoming a bodybuilder.
Couldn't
You
make it
couldn't
up.
make it up. He would also take classes when he could. I'm sorry, this guy should watch like a Paul Schrader movie.
Can't make that
Like,
up.
see what you can
It's
make
like
up.
people just do things. You know?
Totally. Yeah.
It's not so crazy. People just do things.
It's not crazy at all. Like 13-year-old Japanese girls are like winning all of the skate competitions right now. Um, he would also take classes when he could, in between his totally normal work obligations as teenage child diamond cutter and would-be bodybuilder. Around this time, my father, who had never played the lottery, was convinced by a friend to buy some sort of lottery ticket where the prize was a car. Somehow, my father won the car.
Wow.
Another interesting thing
Yeah.
to happen in a person's life. Realizing he had no need for an automobile or, indeed, even a license to drive one, he sold it off and used the money to join his older brother, Amnon, who was then living in Forest Hills, New York, in a studio apartment meant to house 5 men, including my father and his nephew, whom he traveled with.
Oh, that's really
A
interesting.
very interesting
You
story.
won a lottery for a car. You sold the car, and that got you to. That's a
And
very
you
interesting
used the
story.
funds to move to America to be with
Yeah.
your brother, who was already there. Yes, I'm with you. Now 16 years of age and the only money in his pocket, that from the sale of his car, my father immediately tried to join the U.S. Army, but was denied because he was too young, flat-footed, and could speak less English than Beaker from the Muppets. Muppets reference.
I've never seen the Muppets, so.
Beaker is like the scientist who can't talk, basically.
Can't talk.
He just makes a bunch of noises.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Meanwhile, his brother and nephew also tried to sign up for the military, but they too were immediately turned down. When they had eagerly gone to the recruitment office and begged to join the service with their broken English and Borat attire, the officer looked both of them up and down and said, "You want to join the U.S. military? Are you serious?" They were flabbergasted and responded, "No, we're not Syrians. We're Afghanis." Suffice to say, the Gads would not earn their living by serving Uncle Sam. Instead, they eventually ended up servicing one of the largest markets of growth in the 1970s, fine jewels.
Okay.
We're getting into some espionage type stuff here. As the Middle Eastern immigrant side of my DNA stew was breaking away from the hardships of their past to forge a new identity and pathway to prosperity, the Eastern European part of the Josh Gad equation was also coming into focus. Now, this is my big editor's note so far. That sentence is so hard to understand, it's crazy. As the Middle Eastern immigrant side of my DNA stew was breaking away from the hardships of their past to forge a new identity and pathway to prosperity, the Eastern European part of the Josh Gad equation was also coming into focus. This is the sentence he is using to switch from his dad to his mom.
I figured that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, my mother's story is less harrowing and more, well, traditional. American Dream, my mother initially born as Sarah and later renamed Susan to conform to more standard American monikers. That's kind of crazy. Maybe at the time.
Sarah's like a Jewish name.
It is, yeah.
But
it's Abraham's wife.
it's very common. Like it's not like
Yeah, no H. Could add an H. But yeah, I guess Susan was a very popular American name. To conform to, was born in Germany at the end of the Second World War. Her parents, Joseph and Evelyn, had both recently and miraculously survived the Holocaust.
Whoa.
Something I'll delve into more later. So, both of his parents' stories are like really interesting
Yeah.
and kind of crazy. Something I will delve into more later. Having lost the prime of their youths, my grandparents, who had both escaped during a death march, were looking to jumpstart their new liberated lives. The two of them found themselves post-war in a small village in Germany called Wieden in der Oberpfalz, where they attended an event organized for Holocaust survivors. One night and immediately fell in love. So they met at a
Wow.
yeah, pretty crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Can't make that up.
You couldn't even think of that. In 1948, they had their first child, my mom, and soon booked passage on a transatlantic ship headed to America called the SS Marine Jumper. The boat ride was straight out of an American tale, with my mom filling in as baby Feeble on a wooden crib that would slide from one side of the women's quarters to the other during the 2-week passage. Somebody hold that crib.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Another thing that that's just like memoir talk for like this happened one time. It started to like go or like a couple times they had to catch it, but it's like boom, boom. When they arrived in New York City Seaport, the now decommissioned Pier 32, they were greeted by my grandfather's relatives, who had thankfully fled to America before the war and agreed to sponsor my grandparents and my mother. Sorry.
I just it's like the baby's crib going back and forth, and then the baby learns how to talk, and it's like, what's a sequel?
Yeah.
Gets passed down.
Yeah. Just head knocking every time. Epigenetic trauma to the head.
Don't know what a sequel is.
My grandfather soon got a job as a tailor.
Sorry.
No,
Don't know what a sequel is, and I think that fake snakes or real snakes are fake snakes.
I think real snakes
we really brushed past that one.
I don't know what a sequel is. Yeah, that's
okay.
really
Anyways,
true.
I know he wasn't.
I mean, he could have been like 3 when he had the fake snake,
that's true. I know like this wasn't him in the crib. It's just really funny.
No, it is funny. My grandfather soon got a job as a tailor for the high-end fashion Zuckerman house, who would later gain renown for, among many things, producing dresses for everyone from Grace Kelly to Jacqueline Kennedy. After a few years of living in a small apartment in Jackson Heights, my grandparents moved to the booming Long Island. Now, here's where I was thinking, like, I feel like everybody asks themselves, how is Josh Gad famous? How is he famous? How did he get into the industry?
Okay.
And part of me is like, well, his dad was an emerald miner, and on his mom's side was like making dresses for Grace Kelly.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. My mom was not one to go on dates, but one summer evening in 1969, she was dragged by 2 of her friends to a mixer in Forest Hills. The girls had gone on a trip to Montreal, Canada for Expo 67, and while there they had met a group of Israeli men from New York who they promised to meet up with when they all got back to the U.S. My parents shared a dance and, luckily for me, but horribly for their own relationship, fell in love. In 1969, they married, and shortly thereafter had my 2 brothers, Jason and Jeffrey. Eventually, they would move to Florida, which brings us back to my favorite subject, me.
No.
Yeah, that's a little joke. Growing up, I never wanted for money. Now we lived in a beautiful house in a beautiful place. While I wasn't born with a silver spoon, it would be fair to say that at least half of a silver spork hanging out of my mouth.
Wait.
Yeah, at least half of a silver spork hanging out of his mouth. Not a silver spoon necessarily, but at least half of a silver spork.
Half of a silver spork.
I was born with half a spork hanging out of my mouth. Wait. The delivery went fine. But the baby does have half of a spork hanging out of his mouth. How did that get in there? Hanging out of my mouth. We would often travel as a family to exciting places including New York City, Las Vegas, and even Colombia, where, as a 4-year-old, I sat in a helicopter with no doors above a massive mountain range and questioned my mortality before I knew what the word mortality was. Despite my father not being around for weeks and sometimes months at a time, everything felt fairly normal. My brothers and I were very close, and they often used me as a prop in their 8mm homemade films, pretending to be medics and pushing me, their dying patient, around in a mobile serving cart. That's brother
cute.
stuff. We would watch the Smurfs religiously and eat cereal from a giant green bowl that my mother would confoundingly pour multiple cereal brands into, mixing things like Raisin Bran and Life for no good reason.
She's so crazy.
I am a proponent of cereal mixtures. I think it's a great thing to do.
Yeah, one of my best friends mixes cereals, and I remember in high school.
Shout out.
With Sophie. Shout out Sophie.
Shout out Sophie.
She
Great
would.
move.
It was always a topic of discussion because it was like there was the base cereal and then there'd be a topping cereal, and so it'd be like you'd have like your like hearty one and then like a sweet one.
That would stress me out too much, I think, because I would be like, oh no, I'm already getting to the sweet cereal. I need to finish the base cereal, you know? Or would she mix them up? Or she would layer them?
I don't know how it went after they were both in the bowl.
Well, can you figure that out before bringing it up? We were also a fairly religious family, walking to temple every Sunday and attending Hebrew day school for our elementary education. My parents would also throw lavish parties, including one at our house that transformed our home into a working casino with blackjack and poker tables, and saw our covered pool become a dance floor, with me as a 5-year-old attempting and failing to break dance. Now, we've been to a party like that where somebody turned their house into like a casino.
Mm-hmm. They covered their pool and they used it as a dance floor?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if they like lived somewhere where it would ice over, so like you would
Maybe,
cover it with like a hard thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
They were in they were in Long Island, right?
Wait, were they in Florida already?
No. I think
they're still in New York.
I think so.
Okay. Suffice to say, I was either too young or too oblivious, based on the seemingly blessed lifestyle we led, to see that there were any cracks in this family tale. That is, of course, until the aforementioned radioactive spider bite inception moment of my world shattering in front of the dual mirrors. But, as the old adage goes, comedy equals tragedy plus time. Well, at 5, having your mom throw your dad out of your house in front of you while everyone is crying and screaming is a pretty good dose of tragedy for a quintessential comedian origin stew recipe. Now, I just want to say, Stephen Colbert's father and 2 of his brothers were killed in a plane crash.
Oof.
You know?
Yeah.
That's one I would accept.
As tragedy.
Like as tragedy that like maybe like informed your like life path of finding a way to need to cope with it. And I know everybody experiences trauma differently, but I do think it's like less of a radioactive spider bite moment.
Yeah, like it's not good for like a 5-year-old's brain to see like your parents yelling.
It's horrible.
And,
it's so sad.
Yeah.
I'm not like clowning on that child, right?
But it is like, unfortunately, a really common experience.
Yes, yeah.
And this is how, I think it's totally fine too if he's like, this is what like propelled me into this career and like this is what I look back on. But he's like, the way he is talking about it, and I don't want to be overhating, but like the way he's talking about it is as if he expects us to also view it as like a capital T tragedy.
100%. And I think like that's something like I kind of have said about like poetry before too. Yeah. It's like, do not expect the reader to care about you just because something happened to you. Mm-hmm. Like you have to really articulate in a very like interesting way so that they will like empathize with you.
Yeah.
And he's not doing that because he's trying to ride this tonal line between like this is a comedy book and it was like this, so it like makes this seem flippant, which like makes it seem like it's not that big of an impactful thing in his life. Yeah. He just keeps telling us that it is, That's
a really good way to put it. Like he's really like laying it out there like this happened and that's why I do this.
Exactly.
But it's like you know what? We are still in the first how many pages? Like
we're at 15, so we're coming up on the end of.
Yeah, so like maybe the rest of the book is him telling us why that led him, but I doubt it.
I doubt it too. Yeah.
I feel like I have descended into the Gadness.
Yeah, we're in the mouth of Gadness.
Yeah,
now,
for sure.
And I can only expect that it gets better and better. So, let's see how many more pages we have in this chapter, Lord.
I don't think I can finish this chapter.
What time are we at? All right, well, let's finish my 15 pages, and then, we'll do a quick little recap here. Those first few weeks after the separation, my mother was in a depression-induced coma. She would essentially lock herself in a room and cry all day, which was very understandable given the circumstances. I, however, felt helpless and scared. It is incredibly difficult to watch the person who exudes strength and confidence and protects you from the harsh realities of the world appear so raw and vulnerable and afraid. Nothing, it seemed, would break her from the spell, but I knew I had to try. From the early age of 4, I could understand the power of laughter. At the very young age, we took my grandparents on a vacation to the Catskill Mountains to celebrate their anniversary. One night, we went to a comedy club straight out of The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Something that, I'm sorry, like, this is where it's, like, getting, like, a little bit more powerful here, or, like, a little bit more, like, straightforward, but he can't stop with the fucking references.
Yeah.
Yeah. And watch some random Borscht Belt comedian with a name composed of mostly consonants perform a shticky routine. Feels like there's something weird there, too.
Yeah.
I was intoxicated. I couldn't understand a single joke. Wait, he was a child. He was intoxicated by the comedy.
Yes.
I couldn't understand a single joke. What is a sequel? I don't get these jokes. Real Snake? Understand a single joke, but it didn't matter. Every time the audience laughed, I would laugh harder, like the Star Trek android Data studying and trying to replicate human behavior. This powerful drug called laughter felt so good, and the idea that one could wield it like Zeus's lightning bolt was invigorating. And there was one way to break my mother from her stupor. Damn it, it would be laughter. It's just like, man, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's a very sweet impulse for like a child to have to cheer up their mother, because he was, what, 5 or something, I said? But now he's not 5.
Yeah.
You know? And Zeus and Star Trek and the Marvelous Miss Maisel and all of that. And he's like, this powerful drug called laughter, as like this is something he discovered. It's like he discovered the power of laughter, and that led to his desire to make people laugh. Like, every human being on Earth, like, unless you're a psycho, like, wants to make their friends laugh. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think we can tie it off there. I'm really excited to get more into this. I'll probably read ahead a little bit. Emily, what are your takeaways here?
I think his parents' lives were very interesting. His dad's especially.
Yeah.
And I think that my brain feels fried, honestly.
It's a lot going on here. I'm really excited to get further into it because I can't wait to get to his professional life.
I just feel like it should start there, you know?
I agree.
Start
and maybe,
with where we know
go back
you.
to some childhood anecdotes and like.
If he tells this whole thing chronologically, that's going to be insane.
Yeah, I really wonder.
Like, start with something that we can already latch onto, and then flashback. You know.
I would like to give some sneak previews just about the how this book is structured. So it's book 1 of childhood dreams, teenage schemes, and college themes. And in book 1, there's 3 parts. It's how I learned to stop worrying and love the clown. Forensics can be so much more than cutting up dead bodies, which I'm guessing is a quote from something. Okay. And then 3 is man up.
That's from Book of Mormon.
Okay. So. And then instead of because there's a foreword, then he has an inward by Josh Gad's Inner Voice.
Oh my God.
In the middle. And then book 2 starts.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do it.
We're doing it. Book 2 starts. And that's called Of Growing Men, Mormon, and Snowmen. 4 is spell check. 5 is highs and lows. 6 is hello. And then 7 is it's just snow, man. Wait, there's more.
Stop. That's so much.
Book 3 of adulting, parenthood, and avoiding white hoods. 8. Just kidding. 9. Hath not a Jew book writing deals? I'm sorry.
There's so many titles.
And then, you know how he's at a forward and an inward? Now he has a Howard by Ron Howard. Who, we just watched Ron Howard's daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard's Architectural Digest.
Oh yeah.
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was
Her house
really
is
good.
beautiful.
Oh my god. There are so many parts to this
Book
book.
4
No! I thought you were done.
of movie magic, something tragic, and stage comebacks. Okay, wait, all of the others rhyme.
No?
Dreams, schemes, themes, men, Mormon, and snowmen. Adulthood, parenthood, and white hoods. And then magic, tragic, and comebacks.
Um
Chapter 10. Controversy and the Beast. Oh, because he was in that, wasn't he? Wasn't he like the clock guy or something? Or
yeah,
something like that?
The controversy
Controversy and the
is
Beast.
the bad accents.
Um, but wait, there's more. 12 is a murder, an icon, a pandemic. I can't wait to hear about that. 13 is homecoming, and then afterward, one last thing. And then there's a last Ward style thing, Onward, by Mel Brooks. So we've got some great reading in store for us.
Oh
I
my
can't wait.
gosh.
Thank you all so much for watching. Definitely the entire hour of this.
If you made it to the end, you're a real one.
And if you made it to the end, we are going to be re-upping our free film stuff too. It won't all just be Josh Gad. We have Emily's selected a 57-minute not neo noir, a true noir film called Detour that we'll be watching on free film, and it's public domain, so it'll go up on the main YouTube channel, which is fun.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm like I feel like I got blasted. That's crazy.
Maybe you could do the next report.
We'll see.
No, I feel like I've got a good handle on Josh Gad and his psyche, so I can present this. You know, I take less psychic damage. I deal with crazier people than this every day in my damn mentions. Alrighty. Well,
thank you for guiding me into the mouth of Gadness.
And thank you, Will, my brother, for opening the mouth of Gadness for us to crawl into.
Oh man. All right. See y'all next time.